I'm afraid you couldn't fill a half-hour sitcom with every moment of screen time that Scott Krinsky's character, Jeff Barnes, has earned in nearly 2 seasons on NBC's Chuck. But you know what? That's okay, because every time Jeff is in the camera frame, almost always with his partner Lester, played by Vik Sahay, you have to watch him and listen. And frankly, you probably have to listen again, because what comes out of his mouth is always a head-scratcher. Here's a clip from this week's episode.
You see, this is what I'm talking about. He's going to be so drunk when you steal his card key, he won't even notice. No drinking necessary.
How are we going to distract him?
Oh, I'm one step ahead of you, my friend. I had Jeff hire some exotic female entertainment.
Let's have some fun this week. I want to take a ride on a disco stick.
Okay, it's a little tough when you can't see the visual, but we'll talk about that. Scott Krinsky is not Jeff, not by a long shot. This week, in fact, he'll be the guest host at the Acme Comedy Theatre in Los Angeles. You'll be able to see him perform live on Saturday night, April 4th at 8 p.m. Now, regular listeners to Mr. Media know how much I love watching Chuck. It's one of the smartest, funniest, and sexiest shows on TV, and I hope it's around for a long time to come. Josh Gomez and Vik Sahay have already been my guests. Now I'm delighted to have Scott Krinsky join us. Scott, welcome to Mr. Media. Everything's moving slow. Wait a minute. Hey, Scott, there you are.
Hello.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you know, it's this cheap internet. I don't know. I think one day they'll upgrade it and we'll be all set.
Yeah, you know, it's old school internet. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I know. One day there'll be classic internet, and you know. Hey, I got to ask, because I watched the bachelor party scene, and it occurred to me a few minutes later, as a lot of things do when you're on the TV. Is that later in that scene? Is that the girl that's supposed to be your sister in your lap, all curled up?
No, she's not the one that's my sister.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that would not be a little too much for Jeff, even.
You think? I'm not actually sure about that, but
I don't know if Jeff's that crazy. You know, he's got a few morals when it comes to family.
Oh, when it comes to family, okay, all right. So
you can hire them, but that's it. You know, don't go any far.
All right, so incest is not on his list of acceptable.
No.
All right. Well, you know, I was saying, I mean, you probably get the least screen time of anyone on Chuck, and certainly the fewest lines, I think. But with the exception of Yvonne Strahovski, I don't think anyone else makes better use of their airtime. What is the secret of Jeff's success as a character on Chuck?
Well, you know, I just think he's an interesting guy. He's an interesting character, and I think there any kind of workplace, I think there's always a guy like Jeff there. Maybe he's a little inappropriate, sort of a little off center from the rest of the workplace, but I hope people can identify with him.
Now, the only thing I would disagree with there is when you said maybe.
Yeah, exactly. There always is. He's not maybe anything. He is exactly what you see. I was trying to be kind to myself and to Jeff.
Well, you don't have to do that here.
Yeah.
How did you get this job? I mean, who was thinking of this character and thought, Scott Krinsky, he's the guy for this. Something screams Scott Krinsky in this character.
Well, I had worked for Josh Schwartz on C prior to Chuck. And I was playing a homeless guy. And I came onto the OC for what was supposed to be one episode, and it turned into 5 episodes. And then that was the last season of the OC. And then I got a call from my agent that Josh Schwartz wanted me for this part for Chuck.
Is Jeff an upgrade from a homeless guy?
Yeah, I would say he's sort of taking that homeless character and giving him a new identity and a job.
I want to give out our phone number. If you got a question or a comment for Scott Krinsky, co-star of the NBC spy comedy Chuck, give us a call at 646-595-3135. You can also ask Scott about his appearance Saturday night at the Acme Comedy Theatre, and we will talk about that a little later in the show. Is this a great job for you?
It's just been amazing. It's been the best job I've ever had. It's been a blessing.
And
working with some amazing people and amazing writers.
Does it matter the lack of screen time for this character?
Well, he's a supporting character, and it's great to have a job, first of all, and and you do what you can in the time you have to do it, and I hope Jeff, I hope the people have fun with Jeff, and you make the best of every role that you have, and it's not always about how much you're there, but what you do with it and what you bring to the project that you're working on.
I would say we've been on about 6 or 7 minutes now, and I would hazard to say that you have now spoken more words as Scott than Jeff has gotten on screen in a season and a half or so. Am I wrong?
You could be close.
Tell us, a lot of times I think what happens is people see a character like Jeff who is unique, kind of nutty, kind of off the wall, and they think, well, who could play that? I mean, he must be that way. So tell us how you're completely unlike Jeff.
Well, first of all, I can't quite drink as much as Jeff. I'm kind of a lightweight in real life, and I think I'm a little bit better groomed in real life than Jeff is.
All right. I don't want to push, but I was guessing there might be a little more difference. Are there any similarities between you?
I hope I'm smarter. I mean, I hope I'm smarter than.
Me too.
Take an IQ test. Well, I mean, I think, I think there's a little bit of when you play a character, obviously you bring a little bit of yourself to that character, and I think sort of the off the wall kind of Jeff's common sense. I think there's a little bit of that in me, seeing things from a different angle sometimes.
All right. Now I have to tell you, about 30 minutes ago, I sent off a message to a guy I'm guessing might be a friend of yours, Vik Sahay, plays Lester.
Oh, yes, of course.
And I got back two email messages from him I want to share with you. First of all, his immediate response was, "You're interviewing Scott? I feel betrayed." and then I guess he thought about it, and about 30 seconds later, he said to tell you that when he and I spoke, that he told the truth about what a great guy you are, but he's asking you to please lie and say that he too is a decent fellow.
Okay.
Your call on that.
He's a great guy, actually. We're me and him. We have such a great time, and I think that comes across when you watch us and the chemistry that we have, and it's sort of like we're brothers, and we have a really great rapport off camera. But it's really been wonderful, and working with Vik and everyone, and I think that chemistry shows, and I think that's what's helped draw people show and our fans that really love it.
Well, I think, Scott, I think that's kind of what I was getting at when we started talking, was that when you're in a supporting role like that, you only get so much time, and you have to make the best of it. And I think you guys do that. It's a very interesting pairing. I was actually going to ask you if the two of you have ever given any thought to other screen pairs, whether it be on TV or in film, that maybe inspire the way you work together, or the rapport and chemistry that you have.
Yeah, I mean, we've joked around, we've talked about it. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. I think first and foremost, we'd love Chuck to continue for a few more years, but I definitely think that there's definitely a great chemistry the way we play off of each other, and it would be great to have something else for us to do at some point down the road together. I think it would be wonderful.
Have you guys done any of the webisodes together? I know there have been some separate.
Yeah, we have. I think we did a few webisodes. There were some webisodes that we did this year that we were in. We were in some of the same webisodes together. Okay. Maybe you're referring to the ones that we did. We did some, I think, the first season together as well.
Okay. I didn't see the. Okay, I didn't see the ones in the first season. I've seen a couple this season. And just for anyone who's listening who hasn't seen these, if you go to NBC.com/Chuck, and I would capitalize the C in Chuck to get there correctly. There's all kinds. The show has a tremendous website for fans. There's webisodes, there's games, there's short clips, there's long. You can watch full episodes. It's a great site. I mean, I think in that regard, NBC's been very supportive of the show. Do you have any favorite nuggets of dialogue as Jeff? Something that you really enjoyed being able to say as this character?
It's hard to remember all these great lines. But when I was talking to at the bachelor party with the Trisha Heffler, the stripper, and I told her I broke 10 and a half commandments on the way to work today. They write such great stuff, and you read it, and I just start cracking up myself.
Have the writers ever put any words in Jeff's mouth that you said, that's a little too nuts, even for Jeff?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I don't think you can. I don't think that it gets too crazy for Jeff. I mean, I think we expect that from Jeff, that he's going to say some really bizarre things, very inappropriate things sometimes. So.
I'm sorry. I'm hoping that most people who are listening to this have seen the show, because I'm not going back and explaining everything, and I'm not going to ask you to. But it's just, I think of Jeff and I just start to laugh, and I had that same when Vik was on, which I think was right before or after Christmas. The same kind of thing. I just think of these two characters. They make me laugh separately and together. It's a great interaction. But is there anyone on the show with whom you'd like to see more interaction for Jeff? Any characters that you don't think have mixed it up with Jeff enough?
Let's see. Well, we've had some fun stuff to do with. I worked with Yvonne, but I think Jeff could have some more fun working with Sarah, Yvonne Strahovski. that'd be fun to get them involved in some kind of craziness. I've really, I think it's always, I have a lot of fun when Lester and I have had a scene with Awesome and Ellie. I think there's a weird dynamic there that's always fun. So would love to do some more stuff with them, and so there's a lot of you can say you'd like more of this or more of that, but I think work maybe something with Yvonne would be fun. I'd like to do some more fun stuff with her. Yeah.
Awesome does have a good, unexpectedly good rapport with Jeff and Lester, and I think that's something that's changed a lot really since the show began a year and a half ago, almost 2 years now. It didn't seem like you would expect Awesome to be that playful with you guys, or frankly with anyone.
Yeah, I think he just thinks we're a bunch of idiots.
Well, how has your character changed since the show began?
Well, I think having such smart guys, Lester and Morgan, and I think he sort of maybe tried to become a little bit more hopeful, and they sort of raised the game for him, because Jeff's been working at the Buy-More for 18 years, and technology's changed. A lot of things have changed, and Jeff's been there, and then these younger guys are there now, and so I think they give him a little bit of hope, and I think he has he has fun with the stuff that he gets thrown into with those guys.
Well, let's change gears a little bit and talk about your appearance this Saturday at the Acme Comedy Theatre in Los Angeles. How did this gig come about for you?
Actually, well, one of the performers there, Hope Shapiro, was on Chuck earlier in the season. She played a Buy-More worker named Bunny. And she's a regular performer over at Acme Comedy Theatre. So it was her idea to, have me as one of their guest performers for their Saturday night show.
Mm-hmm. Now you've done. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no. So that's how that came about.
I was going to say, I know that you do stand-up. Have you done much theater in terms of sketches and that type of thing? Live theater?
I did. I had a theater group I was a part of for many years called the Bad Puppets. Nothing to do with puppets, but and I just finished doing a play this past fall called Kidnapped by Craigslist. That was all actual real postings from Craigslist weaved together into a play. So I have that's my background is in theater, and did a lot of sketch comedy also when I was had moved out here to LA many years ago.
Okay. What might you be doing Saturday night that fans of Chuck will make a connection with?
Well, Saturday night it's going to be it's a very similar show modeled after like a Saturday Night Live, where I'll open the show and the performers there have all written some amazingly hilarious sketches, and I'll participate in about half of the sketches that you'll see that night. Mm-hmm. And there's a few there's one that they've sort of written that is a little bit based on Chuck a little bit. So that'll I don't want to give it away, of course.
No. But so there is some connection there to Chuck.
Yes, there is a fun reference to Chuck.
All right. What other kinds of sketches will you be doing? Anything you can describe without giving away?
I'll be like gigs as far as characters. There's one I'll be like a redneck.
All right.
There's relationship sketches, a dating type sketch, detectives sketch. So there's a nice mix there.
I have a lot of people on who are going to host the show, and I pretty regularly ask them this question. I don't know if you'd be comfortable with this, but is there any dialogue from Saturday night that you can take out of context and present to us?
I wouldn't want to give too much away now.
No, but out of context dialogue, it won't give us too much.
From the show.
Anything that you're doing Saturday night at Acme, just maybe a snippet of dialogue that maybe you thought was funny, and we're not going to know what the context is.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me see here.
And right about now,
our most popular.
Thanks a lot for having me on.
No, I mean, there's a reference to the fourth ring of hell in Dante's Inferno.
Okay. All right.
Or the High Priestess of Shiva, if you're familiar with any of that.
Somewhat Jewish reference, I'm thinking. Yeah, okay.
There's a reference to chicken blood.
Yeah, I figure, people are right on the edge that this is going to push them over to deciding that they're going to come see the show.
Oh yeah, and we do a funny sketch that's sort of is a play on the whole intersect in Chuck's head too. So
very good.
That'll be fun.
Will any of these skits for people who only know Scott Krinsky from 2 years of Chuck and maybe the season on the OC? Will it show a different side of Scott Krinsky, the actor?
Yeah, definitely. There's it's going to be fun to definitely play some different type of characters than what you see on Chuck for sure.
Mm-hmm. And go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to ask you how. Sorry. And there's a bit of a delay with the online, with the phones and everything. I know. I try not to step on things that people say, but it happens.
I'm doing 7 sketches that night, so I would say maybe 1 or 2 of them are very close in tone to my character Jeff, and then the rest are completely different types of characters.
Okay. How often are you getting out and doing stand-up still, or are you?
Well, I'm just starting to get back out there. I did the play that I did in the fall was only supposed to be 5 weeks, and it was got extended twice. So I've just in the last few weeks I've started getting up and performing again. So I'm getting out about 2 or 3 times a week.
Oh, that's great. Are you guys done shooting for the season?
Yeah, we finished this past March 4th was I believe that was our last date. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so are you mostly appearing in the LA area? Will you be out touring, outside?
Right now, just going to be in LA. In the next month, I'll be up in Ventura at a place called Zoe's Sunday night, April 5th. Mm-hmm. And then next week, April 8th, I'll be at the Hollywood Improv at the 10 o'clock show. It's called Comedy Juice. Okay. And that's on Melrose.
What kind of things do you talk about? Are you observational? Are you tell stories? I don't have the advantage of having seen you perform as a stand-up, so I have to just ask you straight out. Yeah, no, it's all very observational type stuff. I talk about a little bit about my family and mostly it's just a lot of sort of abstract, quirky, observational material, and some of it's one-liners and some of it is stories. So, are you saying that you have an interesting family?
isn't every family interesting? At least to the person in it, right?
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
It's funny because I'm Jewish, so I definitely have a fun time with my Jewish mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely have some good stories to talk about my mom and my dad, so that my mom always likes that when she gives me a new joke.
Does she know she's doing it at the time?
Yeah, now she's a little bit more aware. She's like, oh, Scotty, I'm going to get some material. Like, I'm going to have to start paying her now every time she says something witty.
Well,
basically, yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, she's can be quite the nagging Jewish mother in a very sweet way, but it does provide some good material for me.
That's a good way to make back all those years of deprivation.
Exactly. Make some money off of it.
Yeah. My father used to say to me, nothing bad would ever happen to me because whatever it was, I'd find a way to write about it and make a living from it. So, it's the same kind of thing, I think. Before we kind of wrap up, I want to ask you a couple more things about Chuck. Well, actually, you know what? We've got a call.
Okay.
All right. Let's cross your fingers and let's take a chance. Hi, do you have a comment or question for Scott Krinsky? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hi.
Hey, I thought I was listening. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. You're on if you want.
Oh, yeah. My name is Mark. I'm calling from Florida.
Hey.
How are you doing? Great show, by the way. Now, I just had a question. Back in season 1, Scott, Jeff character had his eye twitched a lot. And this season, we don't see that anymore. What happened to that twitch?
Well, we filmed a scene with his little wink for Twitch, and then they didn't use it. So I can only hope they're saving up for a really good Twitch scene coming up.
Very nice. And just another comment. I know Yvonne's on Carson Daly tonight, so I just want to mention that real quick. And I enjoyed the interview, and I enjoyed the Chuck show. It's a great show, and I don't miss it at all.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind.
Right, you guys do a great job. Thanks for taking my call.
Oh, thanks very much for calling. I'll take a second here and tell people who may be just joining the show or tuning in that if you hopefully enjoyed this conversation with Scott Krinsky tonight, if you go to mrmedia.com, you'll find conversations with his co-stars Vik Sahay, who plays Lester, and Josh Gomez, who plays Morgan. I think you'll enjoy those as well. So what do you hear? I hope it's a good thing to ask, but what do you hear about a season 3 renewal?
I honestly haven't heard anything yet. I'm waiting like everybody else, and then being hopeful.
You'd like to come back and keep doing it, I gather.
Oh, of course. I hope we have a few more years of it. But I don't know anything, and then I'm just kind of sitting and waiting like everybody else.
I guess with the Jay Leno move to 10 o'clock, it makes that real estate at 8 and 9 o'clock pretty valuable and pretty competitive.
Yeah, and I feel hopeful. I mean that's just how I feel personally. But I think we have big fans, and they're really loud and they're really active fans. I think, and I think you talk to people, they love the show and they're very vocal about it. So I can only hope that will translate into helping us get a season 3. But I feel very hopeful about it, and but I haven't heard anything. So. But I think we'll do something in the next few weeks. NBC will be announcing their lineup for next fall. I believe it's sometime during the first week in May. But and then even we could hear before then. But keep our fingers crossed. Yeah, well, there's just nothing else like it on the air, and the big shows in our house were Chuck and Pushing Daisies, and now Daisies is gone, and we've all got many fingers crossed around here that Chuck will be picked up for another season, because there's just nothing like it on TV. You can your whole family can sit and watch it and enjoy it, and hopefully a couple of the jokes go over the head of the preteen in the house. But it's a great show. And so I have to ask you this now. Lester and Jeff and Lester found a way to make it to Awesome's bachelor party this week. I'm assuming by season's end there will be a wedding. Can you tell us, will Jeff and Lester make it to the wedding? Will they find a way to be in the wedding? No, I can't really tell you those kind of things. Oh. I can say your dreams are my dreams. So Jeff and Lester, hopefully, if they have a dream, they'll find a way to achieve it. So is there? We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Is there any chance that their band will play at the wedding? Like I said, Jeff and Lester have big dreams. and when they want to do something, they usually end up doing it. So I got you. But we'll see. I'm sure they want to go. So I'm sure they do. We'll see what happens. All right. Well, folks, listen. You can catch up on the episodes of Chuck that you've missed at www.nbc.com/Chuck. Where you'll also find, as I mentioned before, a Chuck comic book and short internet-only webisodes. You can also order the complete first season DVD of Chuck on Amazon.com or MrMedia.com. And don't miss Scott Krinsky this Saturday live at the Acme Comedy Theatre in Los Angeles. The show starts at 8 p.m., and you can order tickets online at www.acmecomedy.com. That's solid Acme, A-C-M-E, comedy.com. Scott, do you have a website? Is there somewhere people can go to find where you're going to be appearing and doing stand-up? I have a MySpace, Scott in Space, on MySpace, and then there's a Facebook fan page that gets updated with my appearances. Oh, okay. So it's a Facebook fan page. Yeah, and that has been updated with appearances that I'll be making for stand-up and Acme this week. Great. That's great. Well, listen, it was very kind of you to come on. As I said from the beginning, I'm a really big fan. We are, all of us in our house are big fans of the show, of yours, and we'll be really hoping to see that Season 3 renewal. And great. I want to thank you very much, Scott Krinsky, for joining us on Mr. Media today. Thank you. It's been great talking to you. My pleasure, and good luck. Hope we'll see a lot of you in the years to come. All right. Take care. Thanks very much. Thanks, Scott. Bye-bye. And, folks, for more interviews with TV actors, directors, producers, and screenwriters, surf over to our main website, www.mrmedia.com, where, as I say, you can listen to my earlier conversations with Vik Sahay and Josh Gomez, both of Chuck. You can find interviews there with Curb Your Enthusiasm stars Cheryl Hines and Jeff Garlin, as well as more comedians, including Lisa Lampanelli and Robert Schimmel. And please think about writing an online review of Mr. Media, casting a vote for Mr. Media, or marking Mr. Media as one of your favorites, whether you listen on Blog Talk Radio, Pointer Online, MySpace, Digital Journal, Podcast Pickle, Vox, Folio, Mediafly, Podfeed.net, Blueberry, Zencast, or Odeo. And if you don't want to miss Mr. Media, look on iTunes, search Mr. Media Interviews, and subscribe. You will never miss an episode that way. If you've got an idea for a guest, email me directly at bob@Andelman, A-N-D-E-L-M-A-N, Andelman.com. Also, you can follow me on Twitter or on Facebook. On Twitter, it's twitter.com/Andelman. Thanks so much for joining us today,
Always appreciate when you give up a little piece of your day to spend it with us.